later if you want.
Hello, everybody. It is 8 o'clock. It is time to read some scripts, and I'm very excited because we have Savage here, which means there's going to be some candy in my future.
Can
Let's
you guys
see.
hear me?
The Candyman can
Yeah.
always do it.
Exactly.
Don't we have to wait till Molby gets here? Because I think he submitted a script too, right?
Molby did submit a script. I mean, sure, we can certainly wait for Molby. I'm not opposed to whatever you guys want. But here, let's go ahead. We were talking at the time, so let's we were looking at, and let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, there we go. So we're looking at the amazing success that is Spirit of the... My God, look at that. Look at that. He got some help from me, by the way. I also included his project in my update today. And he's already over $5,300. Hold on, and if you want to see the slope, look at that. Yesterday, 2 days ago, 46, then 49, now 53. Boom! Backer Tracker's predicting he's going to finish at close to $9,000. That's... anyway. Now, I made a suggestion to him, which he will probably ignore because, it's just one of Preston's suggestions. But I said, hey, this is your good cover. This is the one people are buying. And as of this recording right now, let's see, Miss Temperance, he has 7 left. Why don't you talk to Keith Garvey and say, hey, he already did this cover, so for him to redo the cover is a lower rate. Why don't you do a naughty version of the cover, and you can announce it here, and we got 15 days to go. Can you imagine, we're going to, and available as a main reward and add-ons to replace the fact that you're about to lose the Miss Temperance cover off your main thing. Boom, and then instead of finishing here at under 9,000, you would finish at over 10. Woo, and I don't know who probably...
That is crass commercialism at its finest, and I think that's a really good suggestion.
Thank you. I do my best. Look, I'm just here to make money. I'm just like, you should do this. People will buy it. But yeah, so we were commenting on the pages. So let's go ahead and view the update here. So here are the first 5, which were done by Samir, who did Primal Chaos.
Yes.
And who came from the Larry Higgins encampment.
Well, Samir was doing stuff before that. He's just the one who pushed in my direction. So yeah.
Anyway, so these pages look pretty good, as you mentioned. Before we started, Danny was pleased with how they turned out.
I wish the whole book looked like that. It's so nice.
It's kind of making me excited because I got a lot of action scenes coming up in the next couple issues. So seeing this gives me hope. So
So whose comic is this one?
What's that?
For your
Whose
own
comic is
project,
this one?
Larry?
This is good.
Oh, I was talking about my comic Primal Chaos, but this is John's comic Dragon Spirit, right?
Spirit of the Dragon.
Spirit of the Dragon. Sorry.
This is the one where I was wanting him to make the villains more unique and stuff.
Yeah.
This is the one that went through 7 completely different
so many rewrites.
Story edition.
Which I gotta say, it got better. Right?
It did get better.
It got better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the best edition was Miss Temperance, but yeah.
That was a very good pun.
That was, yeah. All right, so, but now here on the main campaign page, and Samir did the first few pages, but not the rest of the book, because John wanted to have a different look to the flashback stuff. So here in the interior pages, all right, so Danny's saying that the line weights are not what they should be.
So obviously the characters are good, the scenarios are good, the action works fine.
Right.
I lettered this book, and
Okay.
I'm not going to go trash it on live.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, like I do
the-
like the story, and it does come across pretty effectively. But there are weird situations, like the second panel on the page that's up right now, which literally dehumanizes a character into a butt.
Hold on. Oh,
I mean,
okay.
also, doesn't this take place in World War II?
Yes.
I don't think
Yeah.
women wore skirts. That's
No, I brought this. I
no.
brought this exact note to John, and John said, "Well, in the comic universe I'm creating, women always dress like that." And I said, "Okay, fair enough." So,
Christianity didn't exist in America.
Anyway.
Yeah, and it just like doesn't feel like even. I'm just looking at that second panel. Like there's not that much foreground, background action. The line weights are very similar.
yeah.
So there are times where it would come across like fairly flat if the colorist wasn't so good.
Yeah.
But that's open line work for you.
Yeah. No, this is. I don't like the. It's missing something. She looks like a fembot.
Is that because she doesn't have a face?
Yeah, like the nose. Yeah, exactly. It's because she doesn't have a face.
Barely a bit of a nose is going to be cut off by the trim.
Yeah.
And then is completely disembodied in panel 2.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
Just made those decisions, I guess.
So the important thing is that this campaign is over 5,000, and you should go back it right now. There we go.
Yeah.
I backed it.
Yeah.
Because I lettered this.
Yeah.
The skirts are the critic. No one's reading this comic and going, you know what? Historically, skirts would have been longer back then. No one's saying that.
It's
No one has that note.
I'm not gonna say it, but anyway.
I mean, I'm just saying
Never
it's
mind.
like I'm just saying it's just kind of like it's kind of like a very modern aesthetic for like a period piece.
Scooby-Doo with short skirts.
Wait, what?
I heard Scooby-Doo for some reason.
No, I'm just saying for like a period piece set in like 1940s and stuff. It kind of has a very modern aesthetic to it and stuff.
Yes, it does not visually feel like a period piece.
I mean, I feel like if he wanted to use Nazis, he could just bring them to the modern era or something like that. That's been done before in comics plenty of times.
Yep.
And as it turns out, it's happened in reality a couple of times, including right now, and it sucks. Why are there still Nazis?
I mean,
Are you talking about the Canadian government?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure he's talking about
the
the truckers.
The fake truckers who
Okay. Yes,
ran
yes,
around
Dan.
Parliament screaming USA, USA.
There we go. It's time.
Uh,
We're trying to bring some liberty to Canada. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
It's all plot by the Americans.
That was only a
to
country
make
for like
the
7
world
years.
America.
what was the only country for 7 years?
The Confederate States of America.
Yeah. I mean, but
and
there was only like
frankly,
one of those. Yeah.
Their raison d'etre was, unambiguously morally evil.
I mean, everyone was kind of evil at the time. But
What are you talking about now? What are you talking about now?
oh,
I don't know.
we've gone to the Confederacy because I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. We got to go. Well, there was a Canadian flag, therefore, and off we are. But
Yes.
still, Spirit of the Dragon over $5,000.
It's great. You should buy it.
You should definitely buy
You
it.
should buy every Keith Garvey cover and also the other covers, which are also very nice.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, maybe if Alan. Well, we'll come back to him in a minute. Okay. So we're here. Yeti's here. I think that's all we need to take a look at Virtue. So tell us about Virtue, Chapter 6, no less. Okay.
Wow.
So the last time I was here, we did Chapter 6. The thing is that because I kind of went over 10 pages. We didn't read the last page, so I kind of went back and did a bit of like, retooling and stuff.
Yes.
So I think I'd like to start at like page 5. So this is
Okay.
kind of the combat training arc that I kind of read like about a few weeks ago, if you remember it.
Um.
Why don't you catch us up?
Yeah.
Basically, the chapter starts with the main character eating breakfast with friend Herschel, the candy guy and stuff, and then they go to combat training. So it's kind of like a team of people go up against each other and stuff to like try and capture each other.
Okay.
Hold on. This is when they were in like, okay, so they got like put into teams, and then you met all these people.
Yeah.
And they got put in some like tin shed where they have
Hello.
to.
Oh
Hello, Moby.
my God! If it isn't the rarest man himself,
There we go. There we go.
Will Bartholomew the Third Johnson Smith Edgar Allan Poe.
All right.
That was a sentence that happened.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Man, that was. Feel like Will is that lost cousin that we lost at the barbecue, man. Where you been?
I've just been like busy. So I think I'm gonna be able to come back to be more regular.
He put his hand on the grill and we never saw him again, man.
All right. So, page 1. Who should read?
Oh, so actually, since this is already kind of read, can we start page 5?
I can start at whatever page you want, sir.
Yeah, that's what the catch up was for.
Stop. That's what she said.
Exactly. Apparently, she was reading a book
not
at
a
the
fan
time.
of prologue. I'm pretty sure women famously are fans of prologue.
Exactly. Yeah.
He was reading Gentleman's Monthly.
There you go. All right.
I have read
Lord.
that in the book somewhere.
All right.
Okay, so 2, 3, and 1. Okay, I guess Preston, you can narrate.
Okay.
Larry can be Isaiah.
That's good.
Danny can be Herschel, and I guess Morgan
Danny,
can
I'm
be
so
Preston.
jealous. Okay.
I get to be the Candyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That will be his superhero name, right?
There we go.
Please.
Maybe.
Duck and Herschel look at Isaiah, cringing.
So intense.
Isaiah turns to look back at them with another glare.
Listen up, sinner. Today is combat training, which means I get to administer some just punishment in the name of the Lord and Savior to you sinners. You best
By the
pray
way,
to
hold on.
God I'm not going to be your opponent.
Allie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So, everybody, welcome a new perspective writer to the stream. This is
Hey.
Alec Warner Jr., who is the son of my local printer, who prints my comic books. And he's going to be presenting a script for the first time, I think. So,
Hooray.
Excellent. Yay.
Oh,
Welcome.
Wow.
Cool, cool.
Thank you.
Welcome to the press
So
story.
the format is, other people have presented some scripts. So right now we're going over a guy who goes under the name of Savage, and we're just getting started. So
Yeah.
where were we? We were
Just read the first line, Isaiah.
Yeah.
So,
Isaiah turns to look back at them with another glare.
yeah. I'll read it again. Listen
All
up,
right.
sinner. Today is combat training, which means I get to administer some just punishment in the name of our Lord and Savior. To you sinners, you best pray to God that I am not your opponent.
Duck and Herschel's left eye twitch as the color drains from their faces. I don't know who Duck.
Moldy.
All right, Mulvey, you can do it.
Oh man, I really don't want to fight him. He sounds nuts.
Nuts. Well, maybe if I ply him with some peanut butter blasters, then maybe he'll lighten up.
Oh,
Panel
Man,
four.
they missed a really good nuts pun there.
Yeah.
Panel 4. Duck and Herschel's attention is drawn to a voice off panel.
Oh, let me read that to Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Here's some good advice. If you do get put against him in combat training, then you may want to forfeit. He seems to lack the compassion you see in most of us Christians.
Yo, bird.
Christian should be capitalized.
And the penguins marched.
Hadrian Gray looks at them with a calm face. He is dressed in a navy blue trench coat with a white shirt and a black vest over the shirt.
Adrian could be Elric, I guess.
Allie, can you read this line for me?
Yeah, sure. You two don't look like people who have been in many battles.
Very good. Panel 6, Duck looks down at his feet and Herschel gives a nervous smile.
Who? Me? I've been in a couple of fights. Good old school fights. Ha ha ha.
You're right. I've never been in any super-powered fights before. I don't know how I'll be able to hold up against the rest of the class.
Page 6, panel 1, Hadrian is still showing his neutral face. Is this Allie again?
This is Allie again.
All right, Allie, we need you to read this line.
Okay. Saying stuff like that is definitely going to make it true. Herschel told me that you were super confident when you got there. So what happened? Where's all the confidence gone?
Duck frowns.
School hasn't gone exactly how I would have hoped it would.
Panel 3, Herschel claps Duck on the back and grins.
Come on, man. Keep your hopes up. You'll get better.
Panel 4, Duck nods his head and gives a half-hearted smile. Panel 5, Duck, Herschel, and Hadrian walk down the path to something that is off panel. The three of them are looking up.
The only thing I just say something quick. You might have to explain what you mean by clap. If it's slang terms, that artist might not know that you mean slap him in the back or something.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Page 6, Duck looks amazed at whatever is off panel. Page 7, panel 1, before them is a large stone structure that looks like an ancient town with several smaller buildings. Standing in front of the entrance is Mr. Hardy with a stern face. Panel 2, Herschel stands beside Duck and whistles. Herschel. Oh, we have a line.
Wow, would you look at that? Is this where we'll be doing combat training?
Panel 3, Mr. Hardy looks over the students with his intense gaze. Duck shudders from the look.
Oh, Mr. Hardy sounds Canadian, man. You take it, Larry.
If you haven't already guessed, this is where we'll be having combat training.
It sounds Canadian how, Moldy? Or are you admitting that we're just better at violence?
Maybe.
Sir, y'all do play hockey. Y'all do fight all night.
You do.
That's true.
Panel 4,
Just not
Mr.
me.
Hardy gestures towards the building with his right hand.
This building has been designed to handle excessive damage and offers plenty of hiding spots to ambush an opponent.
Panel 5, Mr. Hardy looks over the class.
You will be broken up into teams of 4, and each match will be between 2 teams. You have permission to use your powers in combat, but under no circumstances are you to mortally injure your opponents. Understand?
The entire class shouts in unison.
Yes, Mr. Hardy.
Hardy.
Panel 1, Mr. Hardy gives a stern stare.
Now to determine the first 2 teams.
Panel 2, Duck, Alice, Herschel, and Hadrian stand together. Duck has a nervous smile. Alice has a calm demeanor. Herschel is grinning, and Hadrian has a blank expression on his face. Look, I've been fighting saying this, but Yeti, you got to break out of the passive voice, man. You got to do it. You kill me. Every line is just, there's a bunch of is's and r's and has's. But anyway, all right, caption. Team 1. Panel 2, Isaiah, Alexander, Agatha, and Mike Strong stand together. Alexandria, dressed in ancient Greek armor made of bronze, carries a Spartan spear. See how much better.
You're fixing it, Preston.
I'm fixing it. Yeah.
Remember how long it took Mulby to start getting better at this? He's actually getting better at this.
Yeah.
He's actually getting better at this.
Yeah.
Stop judging me with your Canadian tone.
All right.
Listen, that was a straight up, front-handed compliment.
There we go. Agatha has blonde hair and is wearing red witch's robes, and we got multiple run-on passive sentence, and is wearing red witch robe and is carrying a spell book. Mike is dressed in red and gold martial arts gi with a black belt around his waist. Caption: Team 2. Panel 3, Mr. Hardy looks at them with an intense glare.
Your goal is to capture your enemy. You must restrain your opponent for more than 10 seconds to successfully capture them. The match is over when 3 out of the 4 team members are captured. Is that understood?
Team 1 and Team 2 look determinately at Mr. Hardy. Team 1 and Team 2.
Yes, Mr. Hardy, sir.
Panel 5, Team 1 and Team 2 move to separate starting points. Panel 6, Mr. Hardy is yelling.
Do not start until I give the signal.
Hey, Yeti, I don't. Why can't you just write Mr. Hardy yells? Why? Look how much inefficient that is.
I actually just noticed that line and read that.
Okay. Panel 9, Team 1 gets into a fighting pose.
To be fair, that is an active sentence.
Okay. Yes.
On my command.
Team 2 gets into a fighting pose.
Get set.
Panel 3, Mr. Hardy roars with his mouth wide open and sharp fangs
3
showing.
active sentences in a row.
There we go.
Go!
Panel 4, split panel of Team 1 and Team 2 taking off running.
4 active sentences.
There we go. Duck runs beside her. He's on a roll. Look at this.
So does anybody have a plan?
Not get captured?
Who's Alice?
Stay close together until we know what their first move will be.
Panel 6, close up on Duck, looking determined as he runs.
Got it.
Page 10, panel 1, Duck is walking. Broke it. Duck is walking behind Alice.
Hey, so I know what Isaiah's powers are, but I don't know anything about the others 3.
Alexandra is a demigod, and Mike is a master martial artist. And finally, there's Agatha. She's a witch.
But who knows how to cook?
Duck gulps. All right, Duck.
I've never seen magic before. I've heard some scary stories, though.
Panel 3, Hadrian Gray crosses his arms and looks at Duck with a neutral expression on his face.
Sorry.
Hadrian.
Who is that?
Who was Hadrian again?
That's Allie, I think. Allie.
Okay. I'm sorry. I know now. I know the system now.
All right.
Well, you're about to get a first-hand experience fighting it.
Panel 4, Herschel playfully punches Duck's shoulder.
This is going to be an epic battle. Let's do this.
Panel 5, Duck nods with a smile.
Yeah, let's win this.
Panel 6, close up on Duck's face. His attention is directed at something off panel. Page 11, panel 1, Isaiah shoots a blast of bright red flames in Duck's direction. Hadrian pushes Duck out of the way of the flames with a large tentacle. Panel 2, Duck falls to the ground on his back. Page 3, Hadrian and Herschel face Isaiah. Hadrian has a nervous smile on his face and a large bead of sweat running down the side of his face. Hadrian's we're really echoing face here. Just has this nervous smile on his face, a large bead of sweat running down his face, and his face is calm, and he has a fighting stance. Or he is in a fighting stance.
What a fiery entrance.
Panel 4, Isaiah's face is a scowl, and his eyes are glowing bright orange flames. John, do you want to be Isaiah?
Yeah, you can read Isaiah now.
Need a southern.
Oh, I'm here. Hello. How is everybody?
Good.
We were just commenting about your amazing interior artwork.
I don't know. I've been listening for about 5 minutes, and you were just reading a script. So
We
whose
were.
line am I reading for?
Isaiah.
Yeah.
Isaiah. I am here to make you beg our Lord and for forgiveness for your sinful lives.
Why?
Read like a
Nice,
racist.
Well, I can't really do Persian, so I figured I'll just go with the closest thing I can do.
All right.
Okay.
Herschel is still in his fighting stance. His right arm is now made of rock candy, and his face has a big grin. Hadrian has several gray tentacles protruding out of his upper torso.
John, you're
Can I
banned
just give
from
him some
5
candy
7-Elevens
instead?
now.
Page 6. Isaiah's face goes bright red, and fierce flames come out of his eyes.
You will pay for your disgusting blasphemy.
And that is all the virtue I get today.
Oh my.
All right. Well, we had a lead up to a fight, and yeah, we had a lead up to a fight. Hooray!
Yeah.
I mean, it was there was some trash talk, there were some teams, there's a schoolmaster, there's people cheering, and there were people in fighting stances, and I was almost getting some rock candy action towards the end. So I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, Savage. I think this is a winner. I think you're improving it. You need to watch your passive voice, but we'll get into that more when we get to constructives. But you know, it's shaping up. So
Yeah.
all right, Danny.
Well, it looks like on your round of edits, script writing improved because you have been cutting down on the passive voice and the art direction, which is nice. I really liked that there was some trash talk, sort of introducing some of the characters before the fight scene happened. That was really elegant. And that you got into it rather quickly. If I recall correctly, the last version of this really dragged its feet getting everyone into the arena. And it looks like you sped that up quite a lot. So there's a fight, and it's going to happen. And we're getting to the fight as quickly as possible. So I like that.
Larry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mirror basically what Danny said for the most part. So, yeah, the speeding up of the plot is a really good thing, and we get still a pretty good sense of who the characters are with a few lines of dialogue, which is better than dragging it out saying like Isaiah is like, I can't remember how your last script was, but I remember you were going on about like their life story and their powers and all that stuff before they even started fighting, and it was just too much script. So
I think someone's
this is way better. Yeah, maybe.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
All right. Don't worry about that. Okay. All right.
That's the eyes are snoring.
Don't worry about it. All right. Let's see. Let's go to John came in late. All right. Molby. Do we have any positive notes?
Well, I mean, I like that I enjoy that the characters clearly have their own personality. You know what I mean? You could tell the duck character's the runt of the crew, so they get to pick on him a little more. But to me, you got the voice of the characters.
Allie, I want you to tell me something you liked about the script we just read. Can you do that?
I like the comedic presence in the issue. It was, it was real refreshing.
Awesome. There we go. Okay. All right. Now that everyone has said something nice, now we have people say something mean. So.
Yeah, rip it to shreds.
No, we say something constructive.
Right. Exactly.
Your book burned my Bible burned.
There you go. All right. Anyone
That actually is constructive.
Yeah. Anyone have any constructives? Go ahead.
Well, the only thing I'll say is, man, you got too many. This is a superpowered book, but you got too many sections where they're just standing or looking at each other. And I think the high risk, while even he was reading it, is that you lose the reader because you have so many sequences of them just looking at each other or there's no motion. They're superpowered. Maybe they're doing backflips or something. There's too many sections of them just looking, glaring, before something happens. And then when something happens with powers, it happens at the last moment. Since they're superpowered, it's normal for them. So you should just have them showcasing their power. It's like if I could light on fire, my hand would just be on fire for no reason. Because it's natural for me to just play around with my
You
hand
really
on fire.
want that power now, don't you?
Just remember, Danny, this will be clipped on my pyromaniac case when I go to
There we
jail.
go. All right.
All right.
Danny inspired me to do it.
Okay, I'm still talking, so I guess I'll go next.
Go for it.
So, passive voice in the writing aside, you do a lot of passive storytelling. Like the bit where I think Doc is like, ooh, who are these people and what are their powers? Like, we literally just saw them. One of the girls is in a freaking witch's hat. Right? Someone's holding a spell book, right? And, like, so you could tell us about it, or you could A, show it to us, which you do, and then B, have them be in a combat and be like, oh, you're a witch. Cool. I need to get you off your broomstick. Right? Like, you can make that happen while action is happening, and you're doing a superhero project, so I think you should. And the only other constructive, which has gotten better, is you spend a lot of time showing people reacting to things that are off panel, and just show it. Just show it. Show it. Like, it's there are some moments where that's dramatically appropriate, but it can't be every page.
There were a number of panels of somebody looks off panel, but whatever. Yeah.
It has gotten better.
You got to lose vibration. My bad.
Yeah, the only
All
time
right.
he wants to talk the panel is in one of my comics.
Yeah. Larry, you got any constructives?
It's kind of hard to tell at this point in the story whether or not it's really
Yes.
working, because
Yes.
it's sort of like a middle interlude, so
Yes.
I don't really know what to
Okay.
add to what other people have already said.
All I
other than-
know is we still have a character who can turn into candy.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters to me.
At the end of the day,
Let's
that-
just make the book about him. I mean, come on now.
Look, that's been my notes since the first page. When I was like, somebody turns into candy, I want to know about it.
Everybody just wants the Candyman.
Yeah.
Actually, Savage, based on Larry's not really understanding where this is going, that might itself be a note, in the sense that there's not very much at stake in this.
Right.
Aside from, hey guys, you're in a room, let's go fight now.
Yeah, it's because it hasn't really started yet, so we don't
Yes.
know where it's going yet. So
Yes.
it's
There's not an
in the
exam.
middle. So.
There's nothing yet. No one's about to lose anything.
No.
There's nothing that will happen that's bad.
See this, man. This was powerful. Two Canadians talking back and forth like a Pong game. It was. Danny.
So
Sure.
All right. Allie, is there any suggestion you can give to Savage to help make his story better?
I think I got in late hearing the script, so I can't really put too much criticism on it. I'm interested to hear more about the candy guy and how he develops his role with the script, though.
See? Candy guy, right? No one else matters. It's Candy guy. There you go. That's all I got to say.
Candyman is the best superhero.
Candyman is the best superhero. Okay. I think we are ready to move on unless somebody else has something else. So we have Molby presenting once again Name of Book.
all right.
I love that show.
Oh, nah. I thought we were gonna read the what is
okay.
that crossover? I ain't wanna.
Okay. Look, I just read whatever. No. Okay, so we're gonna read Guinevere Gatsby Viviac's edit. Okay, no problem.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Well,
You know what I'm saying? I ate some maple syrup. Thought about what Danny and Larry told me, and
To burn some more
Yeah.
kangaroos and
smelled the maple syrup
Yeah.
leaf.
there we
And,
go. Oh wow, this is big wall. Okay, all right, we got off a big text wall. Okay,
we had all the way at 10. We passed.
yes,
10,
we did. Okay,
I think we're at 11. Where are we?
Did-
11.
all right. So we didn't read. Okay, so we're back on name of book issue, and page 11.
Read 11? Yeah. Okay.
I thought maybe we read this stuff.
Nah,
last
we read
time.
that part. Yeah, you gotta scroll down a little.
Okay.
Oh right, yeah, the Jiminy Cricket stuff, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we're just at the part where in the forest. What is that?
You know what page that's on?
Wait a minute. That wasn't 20, was it? Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, 20. Yeah, it might have been.
I think I saw Still Deep in the Forest.
Since we read 10 pages at a time, I'm gonna guess we should probably start here at page 21.
I'm gonna take a wild guess to see if
21,
we phrase it brackets. Edited new might be helpful here.
There we go.
So with that, I think was I narrating this, Mulby?
You were narrator. Yeah.
Okay,
All right, let's go.
let's do it.
Page 21, panel 1. Fast Sekhmet levitates as she guides her followers away from Viviax, who walks back towards her burning throne.
God, man. Grammar check.
Spelling, man. THRONE is a chair. THROWN is the past participle.
All right, who is voicing Viviax?
That will be it's the new guy.
Allie.
Okay, yeah.
Allie, I want you to read Viviax for me.
I align myself with a cultist.
Wait. Read it like a sexy succubus.
Oh, now you're a director, Preston?
I align myself.
Do something to the part, all right?
I align myself with a cultist bent on summon some Egyptian shit show, yet she falters at knowing her place in all of this. Were I not in need of her services and all this, I would hang on the bitch of a witch onto the nearest branch.
All right.
Panel 2. Viviax is sitting on the fiery throne, drinking from a chalice, with an appearance of disdain.
I've lived my life. I've lived my life in the mortal realm for such a time without a purpose beyond existing outside of hell. Yet you came, Gatsby.
Ooh. Panel 3, a close-up of chalice shattering on Viviax's hand. Panel 4, Viviax looks up towards her father. What? In absolute disbelief. One of the 7 demon princes,
I did not expect.
who stands behind her throne.
Red
blood-like energy aura is flowing.
Oh man! All right.
Read that part, Preston. You be the father.
Okay, no problem.
Father?
Wait, when do I get played?
So, Allie, go ahead and read this one for me.
Father?
Daughter.
Panel 1. Viviax is seated beside her father at the edge of a cliff.
Daughter, your days upon this realm of air breathers, rather than inhaling the sound of torment, nears its end.
Father, I've yet to act in my...
Vengeance upon what a non-demon whelp who bears no desire to be before you.
Okay.
I don't know what I said, but all right.
That was the sentence, I guess. Panel
was awesome.
2. Viviax stands with her head down, appears broken, and tormented as her father beside her stares with what appears to be confusion.
Father, I chase not this man for the sake of vengeance.
Panel 3.
Panel 3.
Well, that was a good
Lodovox
one.
faces Viviax with both hands on her singular shoulder with a look of seriousness.
Daughter, say no more, as your father understood. In this moment, through your time, here still remains at the end. I shall extend it merely enough time for your plans for this Gatsby to bear occurrence.
Panel 4. Face of slight sadness. Viviax looks towards Vladovax, who walks toward a fiery stairs that lead towards hell.
Hell shall always be beneath you when your time to return arrives. Hold back not a single ounce of determination when you act upon your ideals.
That's a good line.
I gotta say, Mulby, like,
Yeah.
you have a
Dialogue
tendency.
is really good.
You have a tendency to have father figures give very impassioned. Like the best moving dialogue is a father figure speaking to his daughter in a Mulby script. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's true. I told him that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Page 23, panel 1. Afternoon, high school football stadium. Mieszlo, age 16, heads towards the locker room along with the rest of his football team. Present day, Jersey City. Panel 2, an explosion of fire from the entrance to the locker room. Fire
Oh my God.
exploded outside of the football stadium.
Oh no.
Panel 3, the entire football stadium is on fire. Mieszlo passes out. The firefighters race towards the fire. Panel 4, Sola Ura Sunrise flies over the burning football stadium but witnesses the firefighters fighting a losing battle. Panel 5, Sola Ura Sunrise flies over the dives towards the burning football field below, colliding with her hands on the field, cracking the field. Panel 6, massive amount of dirt from the field, soil flying all over with strong wind, putting out the fire. It's like reading bad haikus. Page 24, panel 1, Zoena seated beside the hospital. No, it's like that freaking Star Trek episode where they're trying to learn how to communicate with each other. Anyways, Zoena seated beside the hospital bed holds her brother's hand, who is unconscious, connected to breathing tubes, as a stream of tears flow.
Who's
Zoena.
Zoena?
Big
John
brother,
should be
if
there.
only I had, and you moved it. If only I had arrived sooner, you just wouldn't be going through.
That was good, John. Panel 2, Zoena kissed the forehead of her unconscious brother, tears still streaming from her eyes. Oh, it's her eyes tears are streaming from. Cool. Her mother and father walk in tears as well.
They walk in tears?
I mean, would you not? They're like their son. He's unconscious in the hospital.
They're walking
I
in
mean-
tears. All right.
They're walking in tears. Okay.
All right.
Big brother, I will find out who did this. I swear. Just hold on.
Panel 3, in the afternoon, Sola Ura Sunrise flies above Jersey City, looks for any sign of smoke and fire. Moments later,
Well,
now
that'll
we use
still be
Sola Ura
Lamont.
Sunrise,
Still be Lamont.
who will obviously be Preston.
As bold as they were to cause such harm during the morning, they will only be bolder upon the setting sun.
Panel 4, a white minivan. I love this direction. A white minivan crashes into a large hospital driveway.
That is a good direction.
Yep. Can't go wrong with that, man.
I'm not sure what it's crashing into, but there you go.
Well, a large hospital driveway.
Well,
right?
you don't. A car can't crash into a driveway.
Hey, sir, these are American.
The illustrator will find a way. That is what they're paid for.
All right. Fair enough. Who is Bast?
Maybe the driveway curves upward and they're crashing at an angle.
You're overthinking it.
Who is Bast?
Be savage.
Savage. Okay, Savage.
Me? Okay.
Savage.
Our actions shall continue to ignite fright that comes with witnessing the bright fire side of chaos.
Oh, there we go.
Panel
There's a
5.
voice.
8 men of various ages, shirtless, wearing ancient Egyptian clothing, hair of flames, and eyes of flames charge into the hospital. Panel 6. Some of the various men are surrounding the hospital.
Some of the various men are surrounding the hospital. All right.
I like that line.
Yeah.
It is very much like accidental poetry. That's all these words.
Yeah.
Page 25, panel 1. About 4 of the Egyptian fire cult men are seated down in prayer on top of a pyramid made of fire that surround the large hospital. The pyramids of fire over 20 feet tall. A hot second later. That's a really good pun.
Yeah, it is.
They shall feel the fire hell of our goddess before hope upon this day.
Panel 2, a close-up of Guinevere as she applies lipstick.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you have new guy read Gatsby, man.
yeah. All right, Allie, read this line right here.
Truly, darling, this is far from a moment of sexual preparation. Don't you agree?
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
No, he's saying, Jesus, bitch, you got to put on lipstick now? Like,
Yeah.
this is-
Jersey City Road, Guinevere makes a hard turn to avoid the fireballs flying from the back of an open minivan trunk door, where the men of Egyptian cult fireballs fly towards Gatsby's 1930s convertible car with the roof down. Gatsby is in the passenger seat, yells at Guinevere.
Oh, that's in Guinevere will be Larry, I guess.
All right. Gatsby, just admit that you were more worried about this old car of yours than me losing my life.
Well, it's one of a kind, Genevieve.
Oh, I'm replaceable?
God damn it, woman, are you mad?
Yeah, it was really good dialogue.
Yeah, that was really good dialogue. I like that.
Panel 4, Gatsby flies towards the minivan in front of the car, shields the fireballs flying towards the car behind fiery explosion from the fireballs as they hit the road.
Gatsby always a runner when the questions get tough, huh?
Well, woman, if there is a dent on the car, if there's a dent on that car, by God, I will find a way to visit your parents and hold a party in agreement of your failure as a daughter.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
The father-daughter dynamics are the biggest in movie stories.
Now that it's been pointed out, I'm really
Yeah.
seeing that.
All right. Oh, you want to get personal at a time like this? Well, I'm gonna bid that Marilyn Monroe picture you gave me for. Well, I'm gonna bid that Marilyn Monroe picture you gave me for your birthday. Okay.
You wouldn't dare.
I
Panel
fucking
5.
would. Yeah.
Gatsby crashes right into the stop sign
Don't ma-
on the highway.
There we go.
Oh
First,
my
there
god.
wasn't there like a fire hydrant on the highway last time? Now there's
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hey, it works.
Drive in
Yeah.
America,
Panel
Daddy.
6,
There
Gatsby rolls backward on the road as Guinevere drives past.
Mulby, sometimes I think you don't actually live in America. You're like, well, in America, hospitals are like this. I'm like, what? America? Are you in?
Hey.
Real America.
Gatsby rolls
Real
Oh,
back
I
on the
forgot. You
road.
live in Jersey, don't you? That's not
Yeah.
real America.
That's the real America. You know, Harry,
Throwing
Italian man.
shade.
He's in the ghetto.
And John's from in Florida.
John,
Yeah.
sir, crocodiles do not count. You know?
Yeah.
Alligators, not crocodiles.
Wait, what part of Florida?
Tampa.
Being Guinevere, right?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. Guinevere drives past Gatsby with her middle finger up. Sorry, that was important.
Yeah.
Yes,
By the
it
way, I
was
gotta say,
important, yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
we're giving Guinevere a little more personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was supposed to be sassy.
She is. Yeah.
This is sassy.
Yeah. Now is not the time to roll over like a dog, Gatsby, old boy.
Page 26, panel 1. Gatsby has his hands on the road. Magic energy aura rises. As water starts to geyser from the road, rises upward from the sewer.
Now there's a sewer in the highway.
This
I don't have a
ends now.
I mean, it's New Jersey. Isn't the whole place a sewer?
Hey,
True.
Oh, hey, now, no,
Hey,
okay. There,
All right. Sorry, Mulvey. Panel 2. Guinevere
Hey.
still drives forward as water geyser from the sewer towards the van.
Oh, that's gonna stink.
Panel 3. At a public pool, a lifeguard yells at some kids running around the pool. Caption, public pool, not toe far from the road.
Stop running around, you damn brats.
Panel 4. The lifeguard, along with the children, run away from the pool as the van crashes towards it from above.
This is a very action sentence. So,
So the
Panel
Lifeguard is
5.
Michael Jackson. Just get over it in this life.
Sure.
Let's go. Yeah.
Gatsby holds.
Oh, run away!
Yeah.
The van
Gatsby
is
holds
coming.
one of the only barely surviving Egyptian cult members whose flames are dim on his hair and eyes as Guinevere looks in the pool beside the van, barely floating over it.
Gatsby, are you sure you didn't kill anyone with all of this craziness?
Genevieve, darling, if you don't mind in silence, I'm going to focus on finding where the drone of a fool was headed before he found out that he couldn't swim.
I know you killed something, but where? Where is it?
Do I look like a second grade public school of magic graduate?
Oh,
Snap!
Sick burn. That's a sick burn right there.
Yeah. Oh man.
Panel 6, Guinevere holds a dead squirrel by the tail with skid marks all over it as Gatsby flies away.
I don't think this squirrel agrees by the looks of it.
That's a good comeback. I like
It
it.
is, yeah.
That's a good comeback.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great Looney Tunes moment.
Yeah.
Squirrels die all the time, so quit looking for a case on me and let's move on.
I love it. Spoken like a murderer without 1 ounce of compassion.
Page 27. Panel 1, a close-up of a flytrap plant as it faces the men meditating on the pyramid of fire. Panel 2, Sola Ura Sunrise flies as fast as she can towards the hospital with a look of shock and tears falling down her eyes.
And that was John.
Yes.
Oh, I was?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, they're attacking the hospital. Big brother, I'm coming.
Panel 3. Inside the hospital first floor, the Egyptian fire cult attacks the security guards, hitting them with fireballs. Panel 4. Sola Ura Sunrise evading a fireball fired towards her by one of the Egyptian fire cult, sitting on the burning pyramid.
Let's just see how you'll fare against the sun.
Panel 5. Sola Ura Sunrise blasts the Egyptian fire cult man with a sun solar flash, which is a bright beam of light blasting from her right palm as she holds her right wrist with her left hand. But the Egyptian fire cult guy blocks it with a wall of fire.
Sun solar flash.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Panel 6. Sola Ura Sunrise holds her right hand towards the sky with her left hand still on her right wrist as a fireball from the Egyptian fire cult guy heads towards her.
Sun solar flash.
Page 28.
Boom.
Panel 1. Gatsby appears in front of Sola Ura Sunrise, signaling her to stop.
Whatever you're about to do, darling, don't.
But Gatsby's familiar with every lady.
I'm
Yeah.
totally that.
It's the way it
He's a
works, man.
PUA. He's a PUA.
I have people I care about in that hospital. Move aside.
Always the hard way, I suppose.
Ooh, panel 2. Gatsby kisses Sola Ura Sunrise passionately, hearts all over, some even flying out of the panel.
I don't know that we earned that moment.
Be happy about.
I don't know that we earned that moment. All right.
Isn't she 16?
Hey.
That's the kiss
This is not the time to start judging, okay? Yeah.
Kiss of dreams.
Cool. It's magic. Panel 3, Sola Ura Sunrise is unconscious, falls downwards towards the old classical car driven by Guinevere below as Gatsby wipes his mouth. Oh, what an asshole.
So she does taste of sunflowers.
There we
right.
go.
Wow, that just got.
That's a line. Panel 4. Guinevere drives off. Sola Ura Sunrise is knocked out in the passenger seat as Gatsby flies towards the very top of the hospital.
The script gets better every
I
time.
think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Panel 5. Gatsby is on top of the hospital roof, blasts magic energy towards the sky.
Light of the just, reveal the deeds deemed unjust.
Right.
It hasn't been 10 pages yet.
Well,
The Page 29, panel 1. All of the Egyptian fire cult guys are tossed out of the hospital from a very similar energy Gatsby is emitting, right out of the windows from the second floor to the very top.
The Egyptian fire cult guys.
It's magic. That's great. It's going to look great.
Yep.
Panel 2, Gatsby barely appears out of breath, sweaty, as a fireball heads towards him from above.
Oh god.
Oh, phew, that looked more. That took more out of me than a night at the pub. I might need.
Panel 3, Gatsby's on his knees, blocks the huge fireball from above fired by the Bast Sekhmet, along with 25 Egyptian fire cult guys in flight above him.
And here I thought you were not interested in seeing me again.
Your corpse will be scorched for days as the city burns, Gatsby.
Well, you know my name. That's first base then.
I really, actually, genuinely.
I love that line.
He has the best line.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Panel 4, Solaur, a sunrise, rubs her forehead and faces the side of the road while in the passenger seat of the classical car beside Guinevere, who's in the driver's seat.
Yes. Wow, Gatsby wasn't kidding when he said he has no need for pills to leave a girl out in the cold. I just wonder how much of this lip balm.
Whoa.
I might need to knock a couple cups when I'm speeding through Vegas come next month. Oh man.
What's going on? Where am I?
No need to worry, girlfriend. Like an insurance company would say, you're in good hands.
Wait, is Guinevere hitting on her?
Why not, right?
Sure, yeah, okay.
Guinevere has no compunction about that.
No, she does not.
Panel 5, Solaur, a sunrise, as her hands glow, faces Guinevere. Oh, Solaur, a sunrise has a compunction about that.
There we go.
I don't have time for this. People I love were in that hospital. Either tell me what's what, or I'll leave you for the cops.
Wait, were?
I have one strike left, but basically Gatsby had to stop you from attacking those burning pyramid sitters, because if you can't attack them all at once, you'll just trigger an explosion.
Page 30.
Sure.
Panel 1, Solaur, a sunrise, flies towards the hospital, and Guinevere is right behind her, drives at full speed in the classical car.
On second thought, I'll stick to drugging people with pills, and that lip balm side effects could have been a broken neck.
Okay.
Hey.
Panel 2.
I agree. Yeah.
Solaur, above the Egyptian fire cult guy from before, uses her violent vines. Basically, the vine attached to her hand. There's a vine attached to her hand? Sure. Is flying towards the Egyptian fire cult guy on the burning pyramid. As Guinevere drives towards him, shoots at him with a submachine gun.
Whoa.
Just a note. This is just what I do. If I have a character, a villain, whatever, that I'm going to need to reference a lot for the artist, I give them a name. That way I don't have to keep going. The Egyptian fire cult guy.
Or masked communist.
Yeah.
You Preston's about to get striked by YouTube. You can't use that.
He might, yeah.
Violent vine hits the ground right beside the Egyptian fire cult guy, who looks confused. Panel 4, Gatsby being held in place, standing beside several Egyptian fire cult guys on the roof, badly injured. As they punch him, as Bast Sekhmet watches from above along with several other Egyptian fire cult guys.
They love Egyptian fire cult guys. All right.
Well, at least they're not Australian and Egyptian fire cult guys, right?
I mean, that was also a phrase I had to say a lot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I love it, yeah.
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 Someone do this Bast Sekhmet line.
Yeah, that was savage.
Yeah. Oh, that's me. Yeah, that's what I said. Gatsby, restore those who hold our god's death below, make the ultimate sacrifice to bring forth her wrath. You will be beaten to kneel. You'll be beaten to kneel in her honor. I promise Viziac that your flesh wounds will be felt even in your passing.
Okay. Page. Oh, yay! Oh man.
Here we go.
Wait, you didn't like it?
That
Danny?
was
Really hard to read some of those sentences without having to stop and take a breath. But
Those were-
like commas.
Well,
So I have to read it like
Well,
it is.
Commas are too Canadian, Danny. We know the answer to this already. It's like
Commas
it-
are
They're very
not
polite
hard.
to the reader. I'll grant it that.
all right, Allie, tell us something you liked about that.
I liked the comedy in that one. There was a lot of comedy in there that made sense. I think it is definitely what's it called? Targeted towards the adults more so than children, but there's definitely a lot of good adult humor in there.
All right, let's move on to Danny.
Well, now that I've been told to pay attention to how Mulby writes mentor-mentee type relationships, yeah, they're all good, and that's where the best dialogue was. Easily the best dialogue. It seems like the story integrates Viviax and Guinevere and
Or Sunrise. and-
Faster. No,
yeah.
Faster.
Yeah.
Right. So that was cool. And I mean, giving a sexy, evil demon succubus daddy issues is hilarious. So we go.
Which,
My turn?
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Alright. Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with the same sentiment. Like, some of the dialogue was pretty funny and stuff. I like the humor. And, the it's like I don't think I've really read the other scripts in this comic book before, so yeah, I was probably a little lost. So, but I like the idea. I'm always a fan of supernatural type stuff. The concept of a cult, and I find the use of like Egyptian mythology is pretty cool, very different from the usual occult themes that you find in fiction.
Right, man.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah, so I did I kind of applaud you for trying to be a little different, because when people think of cultists in fiction, they tend to go more Lovecraftian / I don't know, like some pagan gods or something like that from whether it's Greek, Celtic, or German mythology.
Word.
It's true.
And, man, Danny told me, man, be more cultured. You know what I'm saying?
Or be different. I say be different. Try to
Why are you
mix it up,
blaming me? This is all your own damn fault. B, you're welcome.
Danny, I'm establishing a liable. Forget the
Yeah,
word.
no, like
when the cops come.
liability approach, that's
By the way, Larry,
it's not plausible. I see right through it.
Larry,
Yes.
have you given us notes yet? Or yeah,
No,
positive?
I have not.
All right, well, go
but
ahead.
I do think the pacing's a lot better in this one than what was written before. It's good to bring all the characters together faster, like we mentioned last time when we read this. So all the stuff we mentioned has been incorporated. You just need to work on. Well, that's a constructive, but anyway, we'll save that one. So that's all I got.
All right, John, what you got?
I love the part with the squirrel. I think that kind of I don't know if you came up with that before we read last week's pages, but I think it encapsulates what we were kind of talking about with Guinevere and I'll say that in general. Guinevere actually does stuff, and she's actually a fun character to follow around. And I know that was one of the things we mentioned last time, so I don't know if this was already written before last week or if you added some stuff based on last week, but the stuff that Guinevere had to do was a lot of fun. I love the bit with the squirrel. So I just thought that was really cool that she actually has some good stuff and some good liners to say.
I pre-wrote that. Yeah, I just want to start with her warm. Let the Gatsby character dominate. the script, then once she's more comfortable, she would introduce herself a little more. But yeah, thank you.
I gotta say, we're 30-something pages, which seems like an awful lot for a comic. How long were you thinking of making this one?
I did the edits. It's probably gonna be like 36, or it could be cut down. I can always go back.
So you want this? You kind of want this to be like a special edition kind of like comic.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Okay. Constructives then. I guess I would suggest maybe cutting it down on page count, because 30-something we're starting to get into kind of weird territory.
I mean, unless you're planning a one-shot, like you just do it and it's done. I mean, you could do a 48-page one-shot and be done with it. But if you're planning an ongoing series, I kind of agree with Preston. I think you might need to shorten it a little bit, or find a good break and kind of cut it down at 24 or 28 pages.
We got 32. Yeah, I'll chop it up. Yeah. Probably do an endpoint edit. Is this designed to be like a 1 of 5, 1 of 7?
Yeah. I mean, 32 isn't necessarily bad, but it is kind of going. It does seem like it's going on, and you may be better off if you did them in smaller chunks than. Just a thought. It really depends on the narrative flow. I mean, if you have solid narrative flow and it goes solid for 32, but if it's going on and people feel and your readers are feeling like this is kind of feeling a little long, that's where you kind of, okay, I gotta cut it, and you find like one of those points of high rising tension, and then you cut it there because that gets people psyched about the next issue. I got to see how this conflict resolves. So yes, I want to know about issue 2.
I got you.
All right. In terms of constructive, let's see. Well, we had a battle with Egyptian fire cult guys and a hospital and Bast. I would like for these characters to like. I feel like I don't know Bast that well, and he seems like a cool villain, but and he's got some interesting lines, but none of the lines really give me a clue as to what his stake in the fight is, or exactly why he's out to stop Guinevere and Gatsby and Solaris Sunrise, or even how he's connected to the Egyptian fire cult guys. So, I would like for there to be some plot reasons behind why the fight's taking place, and some stakes behind why someone needs to win.
Is Bass male or female? Because I thought Bass.
That's a woman. That's a woman. My bad.
Well, Bass is a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what
Every time Mulvey edits, and then eventually the top will stop spinning, like in Inception. Jumping off of Preston's point, my constructive is that as good as your comedy is, you write a lot of panels with no copy. And those are opportunities to build character or to establish the stakes of a conflict. Because you don't have literal distracting loud noises and bright colors in comics in the same way you do in cinema. So having people talk and say like, haha, we will take over this hospital and sacrifice it for our crazy Egyptian fire pyramid or something means you don't need to explain it later. And also the reader knows what the hell is going on. And also, even if you don't say it again in front of the protagonist, because you're running off of like Looney Tunes logic anyways half the time. So you can assume your main characters know all this stuff because someone's already said it. That's fine. But if you say it for the reader, then all of a sudden what's at stake. All of these questions that Preston has are going to get answered. And you force the reader to slow down and actually read those pages instead of being like, ooh, orange, and moving on.
This is why Danny is my accomplice and
No,
my
I'm
liability.
not your accomplice. Stop implicating me in your insanity. It's weird.
It's all good, man.
Hey, man, they always told an American, man, you need somebody to blame, now go along with it. Call a Canadian.
You're in New Jersey. I'm sure you can find your own bag, man.
There you go.
Oh, man.
So, do I need to go ahead and
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
I would say as far as constructive criticism, there was one part that I didn't get enough understanding on when they were talking about the lipstick scene. If you can elaborate that a little bit more. I don't know what everybody else feels about that, but I didn't think that was too explained. Excuse me.
Oh, I got you. I'll go back. I probably stretched that too long. That's probably what happened. Nah, I got you.
No problem.
Word.
All right.
I have one additional note, and I know Preston kind of hinted on this about your fire cult guys. You have a lot of extras, and I don't know if they all necessarily need to be there. It's just one of those things where I don't know. It's going to be hard, I think, for your artist to like be drawing all of these people and having them all look different. So I don't know. It's just something that I kind of noticed, because it's like you got a bunch over here and you got a bunch over there, and that's just a lot of people.
There's one scene where there's approximately 4 fire cult guys, which is the best number of people.
Well, there was one where there's 8, and then he said there's some more over here, and then there's some more over here, and then there's 4 sitting on a pyramid, and then there's a whole bunch following Baphomet in the sky.
Everywhere. I assume they're basically foot ninjas, and they just sort of show up to get beaten up. That's not quite explicit.
The minions,
right.
The minions.
It may be. Well, maybe this is more of a character design thing you could talk about, you're the artist. But I don't know, maybe like at least in with the Foot Clan and on the Foot Ninjas and all that, they always wore the masks over their face. So,
everyone's shirtless and their hair's on fire. That's a uniform. Take
right.
your shirt off, set them on fire.
What I mean is, like, when you have the Foot Clan and they're all wearing masks, it's the same 12 stunt guys just being recycled in every single scene.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, that's
so you can get away with that if their face is covered. Now, of course, I don't know what these. As I said, that'll be a conversation you have to have with your art team. But it's just something I noticed. It's just like a lot of them all over the place, and that might be a little daunting for your artist to constantly be drawing new people. So just something to think about.
Got a point. Probably just pick one of those. I forget what they call it, a turban or something Egyptian that conceals your identity.
If you do something like that,
on fire, Bulby, you've already got.
That is true. Right, I mean, if their head is on fire and their face is on fire, then basically all they're doing is drawing a face in a fireball. Then you could, that could actually work too. I'm just trying to think of something that'll make your artist's job easier when it comes to drawing all of these people.
I'll be right. I'll write a note on that.
Yeah, that's just something for you and your artist to talk about.
Just remember, man. Anything goes wrong, Danny was here.
Absolutely.
I am not the producer or editor on this. No responsibility. Do not.
Why do you think I hired him to be my letterer? This way, if something goes wrong with my script, I can just blame him.
That's right. You blame that.
Like, you were the letterer. You were the last person to touch it.
I was the first person to read it.
Start
You're
selling
the producer, John.
Selling these shirts. Blame Danny, man.
I love it.
Cool.
Anything
Yeah, I
else?
will say like
Okay.
just quick constructivist. Yeah, like try to like cut down on some of the panel descriptions because I feel like those could be a little more crisp. You know, because sometimes your panel descriptions get a little wordy.
I mean, this is a note from Savage.
Wow. I know. This a
Holy,
savage note.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Well, I just noticed that, like, I think when I started, I also had very big panel descriptions, and I kind of cut it down, just like trust the artist to know what I'm talking about. So.
No, you do not trust your artist. If you don't write it down, it will not show up in the panel. Trust me, I learned that from experience.
I've been I've been preaching that for a while.
Sometimes if you do write it down, just to show up on the panel.
I feel like from previous panels, the artist will remember. I trust the artist has a memory. So.
Never trust your artist, especially
you trust
your
them.
Budget.
They're just looking for none. Less they can do, and they can get paid quicker. That's the name of the game.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Like if you don't write it, they won't draw it, and then because you didn't say it, and they get paid the same.
The most important thing is to read how to make friends and influence people. Always be complimentary towards your employees and stuff. They'll do better for you.
Sir, you always need a accomplice and someone that's your liability. Danny's on this stream.
All right, here we go. We got Angel of Song, issue 1, written by Alric L.J. Warner. So, Al, tell us about do you want to go under Alric? What do you want to go under? LJ?
Everybody can see coming about this part.
Okay. All right, Al, tell us about Angel of Song.
Well, it's about basically aliens, or some would say aliens, that are sent to Earth to heal the problems of the world, specifically starting off in the hip hop society. And
Good place to start, right? I mean, of course.
Well, yeah. I'm thinking about expanding it to the different areas, but this this first angel that's going is some backstory. All of the angels they make basically raps, and they do that on their home planet. And the one angel that's being sent from his home planet to Earth is going to use raps to try to eradicate some of the evil that's on the planet Earth, on planet Earth.
So angels are gonna. So we have space aliens busting rhymes in order to improve life.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Gotta get some poeticness on that. Man.
All right. Okay. Well. Al, this is your script. So, who do you want to read the narration?
You can read the narration.
Okay. All right. Panel 1, Planet Nyota, Wa Israel grasslands. Vast grassland with huge trees spaced out, which contains large pods large enough to contain a full-grown adult, each containing a being inside. Narrator. I
think we're going to need another narrator.
Go for
it. I guess I'm going to do narrator. On the distant planet, Nyota Wa Israel, there lives a race of beings, aliens, angels, a little greater than human beings. Although humans would call them aliens, they call themselves the Damus.
So should I tell you guys who reads what, or?
I mean...
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Show up, probably.
Let's see. I'm looking at panel 1 and panel 2. I guess you could just rotate. There's going to be characters coming up, but a lot of it is the narrator. So the narrator is going to be reading.
So we're going to have. I'll read the direction in the panels, and then the stuff that specifically says narrator, we're going to hand over to
I can read the
Dan. Yeah.
Right, man. To Danny.
Panel 2.
Responsible.
Steep, towering, mountainous landscape that plateaus to a lush rainforest with numerous exquisite tree houses that house various Bindanamus.
The Binadamus lived a life their own for ages, and without the knowledge of evil. But that would soon change, as Yahweh would soon have them embark on a mission to save the human race and planet Earth, to which they previously only had the slightest information on.
Meanwhile, on planet Niobe, Israel used motion lines to show Bindamus randomly being released from their respective tree pods and floating in a trance-like state in the direction of the rainforest.
Cool. Meanwhile, every 3 months, God releases all the developed Binadamus from their pods, which that's not how you spell there, which they called Maganda Matakatifu. Oh my God, there's more. How do you say this? Al?
It's difficult. It's supposed to be in, I think, Zulu or one of those African languages. But let me see.
Kuzaliwa.
Yeah, Kuzaliwa, or holy birth pods, so they can prepare for their most holy festival called Kutzuzila Wimbo, or calming song.
www.culturize.com.
Zoomed in as much as possible on a field of holy birth pods, each with a respective bindamu and a dormant state inside each, with musical notes inside each, respectively.
See, in these pods, Yahweh feeds the bindamus by what's known as hip-hop rhymes. It's the only means of substance for these celestial beings. Some parts of his rhymes uniform, some parts unique to each binadamu.
Oh yeah. All right. Panel 5. Close-up span of a section of the holy birth pods with different stages of the Bindanamu's development from an embryo, toddler, adolescent to adulthood.
It takes the Binadamus 70 years to develop to maturity, and they stay there, Magata Mata Kitufu Ya Kuzaliwa, for the duration until they reach maturity.
And then their rhyme is strong. Panel 6. Show a split panel of headshots of male Bindanamu and a female Bindanamu, each wearing turbans with a translucent appearance with a light aura around them.
The Binadamus don't age as humans, however. Their development in human terms spans up to about 33 human years, and then they age no more.
Panel 7 showed 2 mini panels, different adolescent Bindanamus as their Makatifu Yakuzawas starting to open in different stages using motion lines, and 2 mini lines of Bindanamus floating away from their Maganda Matakifu Ya Kalazawa using motion lines towards the huge mountainous landscape in the center of the grassland, in the center of the continent, in the background.
That is a very
It rolls off your tongue.
Upon reaching adolescence, God opens their Maganda Matakitu Ya Kuzaliwas, and the Bindamu descend to Ngudu Wa Malima.
Out here is just going to be, is God and Yahweh the same person?
Yeah.
Or same?
Yes.
All right. Well, you might want to just keep referring to them as one name instead of 2 names. Otherwise, I'll be like, well, which one's God? All right. So,
Okay.
Panel 8. We're getting a lot of panels on this page, I just want to say. Show of Bindanamu in a trance constructing a luxurious treehouse in the rainforest. They use no tools as they have their power to cut and move any material with their limbs and mind using motion lines and fading effects.
That's actually really good art direction there, by the way.
Thank you. And one thing I got to say, too, one thing I didn't divide it up page by page. I was basically just counting on the artist to help me out with that. So I apologize if that's not
Cool. That's going to prevent a whole lot of confusion about 3 panels ago. Narrator. Once ascended, each Binadamu first uses their God-given instinct to find a tree suitable for their abode. Then they immediately start the construction.
I would say if you're leaving it to the artist to decide how many panels go on a page, and you're paying him by page, we are now on page 9, panel 1.
I'm
Gotcha.
actually really okay with this right now. This is basically a storybook.
No, I'm perfectly okay with that too. My point is, if he's paying an artist $50 a page, he's giving him free reign of how many panels go on a page.
we're a little separated from paying an artist on this one, so we're not to that stage yet. But yes.
Okay, I was
I
just
understand.
observation.
Yeah, panel 9 show at least 2 panels inside main panel detailing the treehouse from inside and out.
Like, that could be a page. And I'd be happy with that. Anyways, it only takes Bindamus about 52 hours to build their tree houses. No tools are needed, as they have the power to cut any material with mathematical precision and lift and move material with their limbs and mind. But where's the hip-hop?
I'm wondering, like, man, you were promising me mad rhymes. All right, panel 10. You were promising me mad rhymes. All right.
Narrator rap this?
Yeah. Panel 10, show of Bindanamu laid out, floating above a bed. And this is the problem with hip hop. All right. Above a bed inside one of the tree houses, being circled around by medium-sized beetle using ghosting, fading effects, crafting clothing for the being.
After a newly matured Bindamu completes their Mekdesh Etz, they rest in it for 7 hours. At the start of the 3rd hour, Yahweh tailors each in what resembles Middle Eastern African clothing from head to toe by a helpful insect called Elohim Lobash, which takes about an hour. This process then gets repeated for all Bindamus in the middle of every DLM. Whatever that is.
Which it'll be explained shortly in the next few panels.
I'm sure it will be. Everything's explained in excruciating detail.
Yeah, panel 11. I show multiple mini panels showing stages of the tailored adolescent Bindanamu returning to their Magando Matakafu Kurazawa's opening, closing using motion lines. Narrator.
After being tailored, the matured Bindamu then returns to its Maganda Matafiku Yakulaziwa to the schedule nearest the rest of the collective Bindamu's 3-month upcoming release.
I just want to say that there's a lot of cultural appropriation going on right here.
It gets diversified in the next issue once he comes to the when it comes to America, when he comes to planet Earth. But right now, that's the start of it.
No, not wrong with the script. I'm saying you got Danny and Preston reading. There's a lot of cultural appropriation.
Established that these aliens are black.
No, actually they're not.
See, they're not. They're as black as Savage. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, there we
go. Oh my God!
I missed it when I said they were translucent in there.
All right. Panel 12. Show a few of the Bindanamus meditating, pondering, vocalizing musically with motion lines, bobbing their heads,
all right, now we're
inside their tree houses.
See, God's rhymes fed to the Bindamus aren't only for food, though. They also prepare them for Kutuliza Wimbo. They call the preparation Tafkariya Marabaya Kumengania, or TMK.
That's right.
Digestive Laboratory Mediations, which does not spell TMK. They last for a month, every 3 months.
This is the craziest rap script open I have ever seen. All right, panel 13.
The best hip-hop song.
All right. Show a variety of Bindanamus in a wide range from adolescent to adulthood, flying back into their Maganda Matakafu Yakulazawis using motion lines, with some to show their opening and closing.
By the end of each DLM session, each Bindamu comes up with a basic song in their own words of all the rhymes fed from their pods from the previous 3 months, and anticipating what Yahweh would feed them next. Then, at the end of the TMKDLM period, all Bindamus gather in the middle of an area in the Ndugu wa Mlima called Inkundla Yomuklo to hold the festival.
Obviously. All right, panel
Right,
14.
man.
Why would you not?
You read it right, brother. You read it right.
Show large group of Bindanamus gathering at Inkula Yamakulu joyously in a loose circle, having positive interactions using glowing, ghosting, fading effects, some already gathered, some flying in using motion lines. Page 15. Use multiple mini panels to show all Bindanamus participating in the festival, now forming a large circle. Use motion lines to show a Bindanamu rapping within the circle's radius, while the others focus on him
Yes,
or
that.
she.
Rapping. Okay, good.
Yeah.
The
President
following
Savage
day,
is back.
the beginning of
Okay.
the 4 months after the last festival, all adult Bindamus, except a Bindamu who happens to be the oldest Bindamu named Kupoeka or Receiver translated, starts rapping their individual song to glorify Yahweh.
Oh, yeah. All right. Panel 16. Kula Ziwo Wimbo continued. Show the next Bindanamu in the circle performing their song using ghosting, fading effects, as well as motion lines as the rest of the Bindanamu's attention shifts to them.
This goes on until all Bindamus present perform their song.
17. The conclusion of the Kuluzawe Wimbu. All the Bindanamus participating in the festival now shift their attention to the center of the circle, where Kupopeka now stands with his hands lifted up and shaking, using motion light as a green wave of energy is drawn to him from the circumference of the circle in a low funnel that peaks around Kupakawa's waist.
After each Binadamu finishes rapping, they all focus their attention on Kupokea.
Standing in the center of the circle at the end of the cipher, Kupakea tilts his head back and transmits the entire cipher in a sound wave deciphered only by Yahweh from his mouth, but able to be seen by the Bindanamus in an array of gold, blue, and purple waves of color, while the rest of the Bindanamus in the background worship in a variety of ways, from raising their hands, dancing, praying, etc. Page 19. The conclusion show many panels of the departure of the Bindanamus at the festival, returning to their respective Maganda Matikefu Yakulzawa's narrator.
After Kupokea formally finishes the transmission of the cipher, all present depart, and the cycle begins again.
Multiple panels
cracked, right?
show multiple panels inside one of the Kupakewas, drawing on green waves of energy to him from the circumference of the circle in a low funnel that peaks around his waist.
Now, Kupokea doesn't get fed like the other angels on the planet. His substance comes from the collection of original but inspired rhymes during each festival. The depiction prior is how this mystery occurs.
There we go. He lives on rap. Okay, page 21.
Cool with that.
It
And then the
sustains
crystal
him.
cracks, right?
Yeah. Kupakea is shown in his Mikdesh, etc., with motion lines depicting waves of media being projected to Kupakea, who is in a state of meditation.
Kupokea is also different from the other Binadamus in the fact that he was given the power to receive large amounts of foreign information, such as music, and different media outlets from other lands. Oh my god, he has a direct stream of Fox News to his brain? Why would you torture him like that?
He's got to jump to Fox News. This is not Fox. This is, Yeah.
Music and Fox. Ew.
Okay. Anyway.
Why would you ruin music like that?
All right. Page 22, Mission Earth Heal. Kupake is shown sitting in his Mikdesh Exet treehouse in a startled position. Motion lines are used to show sound protruding into the Mikdesh, etc.
Now, during what was the DML for the upcoming 4,000th Kusulitsa Wimbo, Yahweh contacted Kupokea in an elevated tone that caught him off guard.
Times. Close up on Kupokea humbly listening to the voice of God, split screen of 4K traveling through Negdau Vamu en route to Kupokea's quarters.
All right, Preston's not even bothering, which is definitely a sign that we need to translate this stuff for the art direction. Yahweh informs him that Kawaida Kuridi Kwa Christo is en route. It's En, not In, for en route, to his quarters, as he separately directed him that he planned to send him to Earth to help with the evil within, and that he wanted him to brief Kawaida on the environment.
For Mission Earth 2 split panel showing Kupokea welcoming Kawaida Kurudi Kwa Christo to his McDish, etc., and Kupokea now sitting across from each other in Kupokea's living room, while Kupokea scoots up close to 4K depicted by motion lines. Panel 25, the subject of Kaleu Kurdu Kau Christi AK 4K, multiple panels showing 4K wrapping in multiple dimensions in different Kula Wimbo to the joy.
Every word starts with K. Oh my God.
Of the under Bindamos in the background. Narrator.
Now, Kawaida digested his musical provisions from Yah, the best out of all the Bindamus. Since their conception, his rhymes would please Yah the most for the majority of the time. But although the other Binadamus knew this, they held no jealously. I think that should be jealousy.
It should. Panel 26. Briefing on Mission Earth Heal continued. Kupokea now sits in front of 4K with his hands 2 inches apart from his temples. Use motion lines to symbolize vibrations at 4K's temples.
Out of all the information Yah revealed to Kupokea,
What's up?
it only took him 12 minutes to transfer it to 4K's consciousness. I think consciousness is the word you're looking for there.
Okay.
4K is shown sitting in his chair, back straight, with his hands on his thighs. Kupokea raises halfway out his chair, head tilted, while leaning towards 4K with his hands waving in front of 4K's face, using ghosting effects and motion lines in concern.
4K sits still for 7 whole minutes to the great concern of Kupokea. Holy shit, there's some dialogue had to happen.
Mulby, you're up.
Amazing. All right, who's going to say that?
Mulby.
Why are you making Mulby do it, you racist?
Because he wants to. He's been itching. You know, like, come on. Yeah,
Sir,
come on. Yeah.
I mean, I'm the original people.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
we got-
Yeah,
all right.
come on now. Come on. Yeah.
I mean, are you okay?
There we go.
There we go. Yeah. See,
28.
that's good reading. Yeah.
4K looks astonished, eyes wide, as he slowly begins to rise up from his chair as Kupokea leans over in 4K's direction, now placing his hands to the outside of 4K's shoulders in an effort to brace him. 29. 4K's demeanor is now standing aggressively, visibly angry.
These new revelations troubles 4K greatly, and it caused a new emotion he never felt before to rise up in him. Anger.
Damn
Skinny.
right.
Kenny's there we
collard
go.
greens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The collard greens help with the rap. What can I say?
Yeah.
All right, panel 30. So if we were assuming like 4 or 5 panels a page, this would be page 6. Close-up of 4K, looking squeamish, contemplating using a thought bubble while Kupokea's hands are waving in front of 4K's face. Narrator.
But a quarter of the way, Kupokea transferring his information to 4K, his anger over what he was learning motivated him to begin to mentally come up with the beginning of the first song that would counter the evil he was learning was affecting Earth and its inhabitants.
Oh.
It was 4K.
That was Mulby.
No, Moby was the other guy. So
Mulvey was the other guy.
yeah,
John, you do it.
That's right, John.
Rap
You
this
read,
line. Let's
read
go,
for the
John.
culture,
read the
John.
rap, John.
Read for the culture, John.
Rap the rap, John.
I want to.
One who hear him and follow foundation harder than bling, but one who don't. When floods arrive, they lost it left with a thing.
Skinny.
Oh,
What you missed is that he hadn't quite divvied it up into pages yet.
Yeah.
Just FYI. There we
I
go.
mean, this is definitely like page 16.
John, I felt.
Yeah, okay,
scared
all right,
in
page
there.
6. All right, if it's page 16, then we'll go ahead and stop here. How's that? Yeah.
well, you know.
There
I mean, it
is
depends how
a
it's-
lot. This script is dense. This is a dense
It's
script.
dense.
Here's
a
some
dense
meaty
script.
panels.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they
I
are
mean-
gorgeous panels.
Yeah.
The panel descriptions are gorgeous.
But they're very
Are we done, Preston? Before I go off on my
So let's go ahead and stop it here. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, like your art direction is really good. Like it's very visual. It's very visually pleasing. That really jumps out at me. It's like you know exactly what this looks like in your head, and you do a really good job of showing. It's you get a good artist. This is going to look like a really cool book.
Cool.
Yeah. I second that. I think what you have here is like the Silmarillion of hip hop, and I think you should go with it. No, I'm serious. I'm not joking. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
yeah. Like this is really good. It can have some really really beautiful art pages with it. So yeah, go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the best nature documentaries about rapping aliens I've ever read.
Oh yeah, this is a common topic.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
What do you read, brother?
Wow. Okay.
Nah, to me, what he's saying, man, it's written very, what they call that, bio or documentary. It's just like you're not really writing on a story. It's more of you're creating like an observation script. You know,
World building. Yeah.
There it is.
definitely,
Yeah, world building. But, you know,
Yeah.
you
This
got-
is. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go on, man. John, you got John the Rap, and that's sort of that right there alone. You know what I mean? You might have just broken the internet alone. Them alligators ain't gonna attack John no more because he might pull out a 4-4 and start tipping sideways.
Yeah, it's just you guys helped me out with this, but it was the first issue, and I really wanted to make sure I have the right dialogue for people to follow. As the issues, Lord willing, if they are able to continue. So
And
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So we've kind of gone through the positives, which is you've got some good art direction. It's an interesting story concept that you've set up, and that's cool. And you clearly seem to have an understanding of the world, and it's big, and it has God and Yahweh and rap music and aliens, and that's cool. And they're solving Earth's problems, and that's also neat. I'm not sure what the conflict is, which is driving the story forward, and is what's gonna kind of like. I need to know what the rap music is there to save. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and that's the problem with me not dividing the pages, I guess, because later on, in what I had written as the first issue, it talks about some of the problems going on and stuff like that. So.
I had one thought, and this is as someone who's a fan of mythologies and writing stories based on various religions and that type of thing. I would caution you against using names such as Yahweh or any other name that's common to a particular mythology unless you are specifically trying to invoke that particular mythology. So, like, don't have a character named Lilith or Thor unless you're actually referring to who we understand Lilith or Thor to be, because otherwise you're going to confuse the audience.
Well,
I
So
don't know about that. Yeah.
it is a like a Christian based comic. Is what I'm getting at. I don't know if that helps you with what I was trying to do.
well, so my reason for that is I understand that you're doing a Christian-based comic, but some people may not. You may end up turning off some people that you otherwise wouldn't want to, and you could either turn them off by people who read it and be like, no, I don't want to read a Christian comic, and you could also turn off Christians who think, well, you're not properly representing my interpretation of who God is.
The vase.
Saying that the use of Yahweh is divisive is what John is trying to say, I think.
Like it's rich.
And
It's
it
rich.
sounds
Yeah,
like
it's-
it's unnecessarily.
It's kind of like using. It's like
divisive.
using Muhammad in a story. You could run the risk of turning off Muslims and stuff. Yeah.
It's not entirely.
There are
that
a lot of
it's
Muslims
not,
buying comics. Yeah,
It's
they are.
not entirely that it's
There's over a billion of them.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's divisive in and of itself. If you are writing a comic about the life of Abraham, then knock yourself out. Write a story about the life of Abraham and Yahweh and have fun with it. But you're writing a story about aliens/angels on this mystery planet that I think it can lend itself to allegory, and which may be more powerful of a way to tell the story you want if it's an allegory.
Gotcha.
Invoking the name of Yahweh in an allegorical story immediately takes us out of the realm of allegory, and then we're left wondering, what are you talking about?
Right.
That's kind of what I mean, more or less, because Christians love their allegorical stories, and allegorical stories can cross over into, with non-Christians. Look at Chronicles of Narnia or, Lord of the Rings. Those kind of have broader appeal, even though they're both Christian stories, but they're more allegorical, so they have that. Whereas if all of a sudden, like if Aslan wasn't called Aslan, but he was called Jesus Christ, yes, he's an allegory for Jesus Christ, but we don't call him Jesus Christ, because then that takes us out of the allegory, and then it kind of confuses people, and some people are going to be like, well, no, now it's just too much, and I'm not going to that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, it's also like how in the Silmarillion, God is called Eru-Luvatar. They don't call him God or Yahweh. He's just called Eru.
Right.
Yeah,
That kind of thing. Like, make up a name for him. He can even be close.
Call him John
Makes less
Howard.
on the nose, I guess. A little more subtle.
Yeah. And if you're going Protestant, or evangelical Christian, you could call him Trinity. There you go.
Mm.
Oh, and then you can get Preston to hire someone to do some alternate cover art for you.
There you go. Right, my heathen ass read all the Chronicles of Narnia without realizing it was Christian, and I love them. See, that's you're gonna lure people
You weren't
in.
paying attention. So.
I'm not Christian. I didn't realize it was Christian allegory until I
Really? Okay.
actually learned what the story of the New Testament was. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess so.
Because it was good writing.
Disagreement between
I
two
guess
Canadians
when,
could destroy the stream.
when Aslan said, "You know my name in another," you know me by a different name in your world and stuff, so that kind of gets the end.
Yeah. That's why I said it. It kind of felt like that's what you wanted to do, and I think you should come up with an original name for your deity character. That would be my.
That way you don't lose the
Unless you go for
murder.
an ancient aliens type theme where Yahweh's an
Yeah.
alien.
I
ancient
mean, okay, let me just put it this way: nobody's firebombing the History Channel right now. So, and they mention Yahweh and God and everything like that, and ancient aliens all the
Ancient
time.
aliens
So,
is a meme.
yeah, I
Ancient
think
aliens
it's
is a
fine.
meme. It's a meme. It's a meme. Like everyone makes fun of ancient aliens.
I mean,
Well, just saying. Yeah.
I think if he's doing a take on Yahweh but fiction, The only thing I'll say, we doing the criticisms, right? The only thing I would say is you got to learn that, panel count. You want to do at least 6 to 8, but you want to stay at 6. And I would say, even though, it was funny as hell seeing Danny and Preston. You know what I mean? But when you write those other languages, because you're writing to an artist, you want to describe it. You know what I mean? You want to keep those for your own notes, but you want to write it as simple as possible. You don't want to run into alternative languages. You want to keep everything crisp in English. That way, it's a lot easier for the artist to get it done. And you can always reference it. Like you could have, you can always reference how you want it. Like, for example, you could say it's a pod, then you could say it's based on this African thing. You know what I mean? You don't want to use the language, because what's going to happen is you're going to confuse the artist, and you're going to run into more delays with the book. And
the easiest way to avoid that is to have a design document where you say this item called this is
need to
this.
get into script design documents today.
Yeah, but
with Ali, we'll get into that next time.
Poor guy.
Oh no, it's a lot of information, but it
was written. Descriptions were written fire. It's just, to me, you want to stay away from using descriptions where you blend in another language, because that they're going to confuse the writer and even the narrators. You want to worry about that when it's time to put in the text and dialogue, because usually an artist will draw it out. I mean, if you don't have a letter, that's another process. Once the art is done, then they'll add the letter. But I think what you're writing is more of a semi-documentary, because you don't got a lot of characters talking or a lot happening. It's more of you're creating something between, I'd say, an art book and a comic. You're just using comics, so when the character talks, you could see their dialogue. But for the most part, I think this is going to be a heavy, a lot of narrations, because it's not more of a comic book, more of a documentary approach. But you got to learn to break up the pages, man. You want to stay 6 to 8 panels per page. And then you're going to have another hard lesson, is figuring out which page is a splash page. Because even though you had a lot of great descriptions, some of those, there's no way they'll fit into one page, But that comes with trial and error.
True, but I wouldn't go over 6
experience,
panels,
What's the splash page? Or do we have time for that? Or we can talk about
a splash page means
one panel on it.
You just the entire page is a single panel.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So from a more narratively technical level, and I'm going to really focus my thoughts here because we're all trying to be helpful. I know Preston mentioned there not being much conflict, and that's a big problem. One thing I noticed in your narration is that you gave up on your own narration after a bit and started giving short forms for things. So either it matters to do that or it doesn't. And that's really awkward and sort of confusing for the reader. Explaining something later using something that doesn't spell the thing that you're explaining it as doesn't clarify anything. And each panel should fully encapsulate the action and the description that is meant to go along with it. I also think, and this is an editing issue, although it's obvious that you have spent a lot of time thinking about the mechanics of this alien civilization and how it operates in this world, not all of that is actually essential to the story you're trying to tell. So, does it really matter that these people can build a house? I just want to see them. You told me there was going to be rapping angels, and there was kind of a rave.
Yeah.
And then there was one rap for 2 lines. I want to see rapping angels. right? Like, here's the setup, here's the conflict, sort of get on with it. So, like, although it is very important that you wrote all of this entire life cycle worth of stuff, if it's not like, if you're going to end up producing something that's more dense than about 2 panels per page, you have too much narration to show the art and have this voiceover and the narration, right? So at that point, how many pages are you going to expect your reader to flip before something happens if they're not in love with the angels and the design or whatever, and you've actually sold them on the concept of this hip-hop fixing Earth thing, because we want to get to that. So it's possible when you get around to editing and sort of thinking about layouts and sort of thinking about what it is you're going to try and sell the book on, because sadly this crass commercial aspect is an important part of the job of being an independent creator, is selling this stuff.
Yes.
Then it might be worth seeing if you need to have some of this art direction or explanation, if it might not be more useful if you introduce it later when it's actually relevant to another discussion our protagonists are having. Right? Because right now it takes us approximately 20 panels to meet someone who might be a protagonist, and then Christ shows up and is the protagonist. So we're halfway through volume 1 of a normal comic at minimum, and we don't know who the main character is, right? So as you edit, you're going to get there. And one question that is worth asking oneself regularly as one edits is, who is the story about and what are they doing? I guess that's 2 questions, but if you can answer that for like how every bit of action you're going to show is going to be relevant to that, then you're going to have a really strong book when you come out of your editing process.
Oh yeah, Danny dropped some bombs. It's to me, man, artistically, man. And another thing you gotta realize is some of the information you can save and put in the back of the book or before the first page starts, where you can explain their powers, because you don't want to have any filler. People only want to see the action, the cool location, but nobody would want to watch a show to see even the Hulk build a house.
I would watch the hell out of that show.
Hey,
yes.
See, man, you mentioned houses and timber, and a Canadian will.
I want to watch the Hulk smash a tree into a house.
That will work. To me, man, the only thing I'll say is you writing this is gonna be more of a, I'd say, documentary-ish, because you might not need a antagonist or a problem when it's really just him telling you how these people work. I've seen a few comics like that where it's just about showcasing a different world, or like Preston said, world building or something. But you're pretty young and early in your stages of writing, so some parts you're gonna have to keep working on. But I would just say, just write it, but you're gonna have to break down the pages. The biggest thing you gotta figure out, and the biggest lesson is gonna be that the panels. What's the splash page and what's the limit per page? That's gonna be, and I think you're gonna have to experiment where you pay an artist to draw 1 page for you, because you're gonna, a lot of guys here are more seasoned. But you're gonna have to pay an artist to draw 1 page, so you could start figuring out your page layouts.
And you could sketch it out yourself. You should sketch it out yourself. It's a comic,
right?
And like, I keep saying this reads like a picture book. That's not actually a negative criticism. This is a fine picture book, and I would buy the hell out of it for a lot of people that I wouldn't buy a comic for. But again, as the creator, you've got to figure out what you want to produce.
Okay.
Respect for bringing it, man.
And thanks so much for sharing that, man.
And respect for making John rap, man. This moment, Preston's been waiting for this moment for 10 years.
All right. Well, we're 2 hours in. We got a leftover script for next week. How about that? For
Sounds like
Danny,
a plan.
we can look at Cygnus Imperium next week.
Awesome. And that's right after my Kickstarter closes.
There you go.
So for those of you who want to know what Cygnus Imperium is all about, just go back it now on Kickstarter. Preston will, I'm sure, post a link at some point.
Well, I will put a link in the description. But yes.
Sure, if you ask him nicely.
There you go. No problem.
Preston, if you don't mind terribly, I'd really appreciate it if you put up a link. Would that be okay?
Yeah, no, I can do that. Hold on.
Thank you so much.
Canadians will wake up to the head of a moose out your window.
Listen,
No, the moose is in
talk
moose
like
head
that,
is
you're
the
going to
bed.
wake up to the head of a moose in your bed.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it goes. Come on.
All right, so I posted the link there in the chat. I'll also put it down in the description.
I don't know why Moldy keeps thinking Canadians are all nice. We just hide it really well.
For panel layouts, Google Pages and use the ones you would like as a foundation. It's not a bad idea.
thing
Yeah,
to do.
that's actually a really good idea.
Look at comics. It always helps.
Right, man.
You're making a comic, it very much helps to have seen a comic before, yeah.
Gonna make the most kindest comic ever called The Canadian. You know what I'm saying?
I still want it to be about.
To use that title, it is going to be the least kind comic.
There we go. We got to make it about the great maple syrup heist. It's got to the strategic reserve of maple syrup.
I discussed that. I think we both want to produce that.
Yeah, the strategic reserve of maple syrup has been stolen. That's where the story opens. Let's do it. Anyway.
You gotta make it about a man, a Canadian so kind you drop your quarter and he's gonna fly all the way to another country just to give it back to you, the Canadian.
Oh, man.
All right. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this week. Then next week we'll take a look at Cygnus Imperium and what are the scripts we got.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.